G'day everybody and welcome to another Roo rental car review. Now then, I am very excited to present. This is in front of you a Renault Kwid. Yes, a Kwid. It rhymes with squid. And you may be thinking to yourself, what the heck is a Renault Kwid? I tell you what, I was thinking the same question too when I got that in the rental lot and they told me I had a Kwid. So when I got the keys to this in Cape Town, South Africa, yeah, I had no idea what to expect here. So basically a Kwid is Renault's smallest car and it's designed and developed mainly for India. That's where it's also built, and it is marketed in some other developing countries as well, including here in beautiful South Africa. Now the premise of this car, the main selling point is the price, and locally here in South Africa it sells for 126,000 Rand. That sounds impressive, but that equates to $8,500 US. Now think about that, a brand new car for $8,500 US. It's a lot cheaper than even the cheapest car in America. So I'm going to go through how it got to be so cheap and some of the pleasant surprises and kind of give you my thoughts on it. So first thing I'm going to focus on is the styling. Now it's the classic two-box shape like most hatchbacks this size. Nothing too exciting. It's about the same size as a Chevy Spark. The back end does have a lot of relation to the, it has that Renault look. It looks like has resemblance to the Clio and the Capture that I reviewed on the last review. Kind of a nice body shape. I mean, it's very blocky and chunky. I like this little crease up here in the C-pillar where the window kicks up. Now also Renault tried to go with the latest crossover trend, which is gathering steam too in other countries. They tried to go for like a blocky SUV look, so it's a very upright front end, very chunky. It's got the fog lights in the front, and then it's got this body cladding as well around the wheel arches. It's got side moldings, and also too, these are tiny 13-inch tyres, but there's quite a bit of ground clearance, and Renault is they do brag on their marketing that it has enough ground clearance to do some light off-roading, or at the very least tackle some of the rough roads in the countries this car is sold. So I think it kind of works. It gives the car a bit more character than a lot in this segment. Alright, and I do find actually one little comical thing here is the antenna on this car is massive. It's huge. It literally doubles the height of this car, and I've had myself hit a few things like low roofs and stuff with it. But we'll go ahead inside, and here is the remote keyless fob, which cannot be taken for granted at this price. We'll have a look, and this is the inside of a Kwid. First thing that stuck out to me were these bright red seats, and they look really cool. You know, Renault could have just gone with some grey seats and just called it a day, but no, they kind of livened up the interior, and the back has the same seats as well, same design. And the seats themselves have really nice bolstering. They're actually contoured really nicely. The cushions are large enough for me, and I found it quite comfortable. And there is quite a bit of legroom. And the dash isn't intrusive at all either. So it turned out to be a really comfortable car to drive as far as seat comfort. Kind of a surprise. And there's even some luxury cars I can't make that same claim. So inside the Kwid, I'll focus on the good features first. The first thing you notice too is that this has a really nice entertainment system, or infotainment system. It's shared with other Renaults. It's a little bit more of a basic version of them, but same premise. Has a USB port, has auxiliary, and then yeah, has nice touchscreen radio. Now, one issue that I've had with this car, and I think it's a software glitch, I don't think it's by design, is that I'm listening to the radio like I am now. I'm just listening to the local radio, just relaxing. This will happen. It will then go to Bluetooth mode, and it will turn the radio off. It will just go to Bluetooth. It will want to stream something. It will want to make a call, and it does this every time. And if I go back to the home page, it doesn't want to go back to the radio. So I have to turn the radio off, redo it, and it does it. But it does it every time, and it's so annoying every time I have a phone. So Not sure why it does that. I think it's a glitch. There's no way I could see why they would want that as a design feature. But the radio itself, otherwise, it's very responsive, very clear. The menus are easy to navigate. I've seen much worse infotainment systems on cars that cost 5 times as much as this. So kudos to Renault. We do have air conditioning as well, which, to my surprise, works really well. It's also pretty strong, very responsive. It doesn't seem to suck too much power out of the little engine. Let's see, and then we also do have power window switches. So these are the fastest windows I think I've ever seen on any car. Let me just get the key in the on position. They are so quick, look at that. Most windows kind of like, they take their time. These are just like, I'm going. So pretty quick windows. We also have power door locks. So for, once again, a $8,500 car, not bad. Got a switch blank here, which is the knob for the automatic transmission. They kind of use a dial like Ford or Jaguar or Chrysler. This one happens to be the manual transmission, which I honestly found a little bit notchy. It's not the most precise, but what can you do? Pretty good storage as well. So I'm going to turn to the bad now. So here's the bad. You can definitely tell this car's built to a price. I mean, obviously cheap plastics. They seem very durable though. I'll give Renault credit that. I mean, there's nothing loose or that looks like it's going to fall right off. It seems pretty well assembled. But there is no power mirror adjustment. So you got to roll down those windows, which are really quick, and adjust the mirror yourself. On the gauge, which I do like this digital gauge, there's no tachometer, there's no temperature gauge, and there's even no trip meter. So it's only the odometer. I can't reset to even to see how many miles I have traveled. There's also no headlight on reminder. So if I turn the headlights on, screen light comes on in the dash. But if I open the door, no reminder. So you gotta remember, make sure you don't leave your keys in, don't leave your headlights on. Now, safety is a big one too. So I do have a driver's side airbag, but I do not have a passenger airbag. I know, 2020, we have a car that does not have a passenger airbag. So if you don't have passengers, then not a big issue. If you do have passengers, it's everyone for themselves. But you do have a nice storage area here. Little tray area, glove box, good storage bin. So storage in the car itself is really good. Also too, another feature that's missing is a rear defroster. I think almost every car's had this since the 90s. No rear defroster, no rear wiper. But otherwise, unless you've got clouded windows, visibility is fantastic. You can see all around really clear. It's a very upright driving position. We'll go ahead and move to the back of the car. And the back seat itself is pretty cramped. It's to be expected for a car this size, but if I get into the back here, if I'm sitting behind myself, my knees are digging right into the seat back here. And surprisingly, there is a third seat back here, so this is a 5-seater car. Rear windows are manual, another cost-saving measure. And going to the hatch, this actually has the largest hatch in its class, which is the trade-off of the small seat. Now, I don't have a release button here. Actually, I had left the hatch unlocked anyway, and I'll open up the hatch. And yeah, it's a good sized trunk. Now, there is a cargo cover, which also can't be taken for granted. There are cars that do not have this even in the US, but there's no string, so it just kind of flops here. Doesn't do anything else. Underneath is a full-size spare tire. Hallelujah. Thank you, Renault, for doing that. But yeah, decent sized trunk. Now, bare metal on the sides, which I haven't seen on a car in a long time. The rear seat does fold down in one piece. It does not split fold. So pretty good amount of room back there if you need if you just use this as a 2-seater. No inner lining on the hatch, and the metal itself does sound a bit chintzy. Now going to the engine, got the hood release on this side, which some Renaults only keep them on the left-hand drive market on the other side. It's a 1.0 litre 3-cylinder engine, 60 kilowatts of power. That's about 50 kilowatts of power. That's about 67 horsepower. Made it to the 5-speed manual. It's decent around town. It has some decent get up and go, but on the freeway, once you get above 100 kilometers an hour, it is definitely on the slow side. It runs out of steam on any hill or even an overpass. But otherwise, looks like it's pretty easy to maintain. Tiny little battery here. Now, another cost-saving measure is there's no plastic piece here at the bottom of the windscreen cowl, and there's only one windscreen wiper. Old cost-saving, but you know what? It does the job. So, that in a nutshell is the Renault Kwid. It's not perfect, but for the price, it serves the purpose. It comes with some surprising equipment, and not a bad car at all. We'll never see it stateside, but fun to drive it here in South Africa. Otherwise, that is it for this review, and I will see you guys on the next Roo rental car review.